Going on, America? You with the messenger through our knowledge. Tonight's conscious programming is. I'm just gonna let you have it. I've read about 500 emails, so I'm gonna get to about three because I'm actually utterly exhausted. It's almost 1 in the morning. But knowledge doesn't have a schedule. Remember that. Knowledge. There's no schedule on knowledge. There's no schedule on how much knowledge you consume to raise your level of awareness. Let's get into this. I've read the Candace Owen emails. I've looked into it. I've researched Candace, and she's a puppet. She's not truly connected to the black community in any way, shape, or form, but she is. She has to maintain that image. Don't move over the puppet strings. Don't jerk the strings. They control her, and that's what that is. She was brought up in a community in which a lot of us can identify with. On a person, I don't speak on anyone unless I know as a person, unless I meet them or have a conversation with them and get their character. So I'm not going to completely brutalize and pummel somebody I'd never had a conversation with. But if you really want to hear her speak, her side of her story, you can check it out in Russell Brand's interview he has with her. Type in Russell Brand, Candace Owens, and you can get that. The one over George Floyd. That's where I'm going to get a little bit of an asshole-ish. How can you not let a man who was killed, helpless on the ground with like 8 cops on top of him? I say on top because basically that's what they were doing. They were having one cocksucker put their knee on the back of I consider him to be an older gentleman, with 8 pigs, or 3 pigs, whatever, how many of them were around, you know. And he calls for his mother. I'm going to talk to my mother. See, some of us whom were lucky enough to have a crew that didn't give a shit about, smashing the face in of a pig. Give a fuck, see? You fuck with somebody, that's what's going to happen in America. That's a chain reaction. That's human reaction. You gonna fuck with me. You have a gun. You have immunity. You have an oath. You gonna fucking try something with either me or somebody else. This is the mentality on which that's life. See, that's what our leadership has done in this community. I'm gonna send you back to your buddies, maybe with half your face, I don't know. But you're not gonna take me the fuck out, no. But see, he was an older gentleman with a drug addiction. He's not going to get up. He's not going to try writhing. He's not going to try fighting back because you're cutting off his windpipe. You're cutting off his circulation and you are shutting his body down. It's called physical asphyxiation. And that's wrong on top of a knee chokehold. That's an illegal move, actually. I guarantee if you look into that cop's personal history or his resume, it probably has martial arts on there. But the fact of the matter is, or some kind of military training. That's wrong, and she took that away from him. So that's why I consider her to be a garbage human being. So that's that on Candace Owens. Now let's get into how we actually address systemic failure. We can easily back up this movement by maybe at some point in our coming days stepping back and humbling ourselves and checking our own reactions and how we interact with people. Am I worried about this gentleman sitting in here who is either black, white, brown, possibly homeless or low income because of his financial class, culture, or pigment? We all need to step back sometimes and humble ourselves because that's how we attack a failure of this magnitude in a country this big. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You think federal government is going to do this? No, that's what they want. This is always what, it's a power. It's power. They give you police reform. They're handing over some of the power. Oh, but messenger, but the messenger, listen, third eye, listen, this is the governor. The governors don't have any fucking power, and you need to stop believing that. The governors don't have any power. If they had power, they'd be calling the White House and saying, hey, I want to talk to the Oompa Loompa who thinks that he's going to give my military tanks and hand grenades for civilians. No. I feel sorry for all you dreamers that believe the governors. They don't do that. They tell you that so they don't have to do anything. Sit back and put their foot on the desk, because that's what they do. And then they tell the power structure to tell you it's white and black. You don't get that? You're suckers if you don't get that. This excludes the Black Lives Matter movement because by facts and numbers and going back fucking before the 1900s, it's always been them at the top, and it sucks. It's fucking horrible. But I also ask the Black Lives Matter movement to think deeper. Think deeper. They give anyone in our community any sort of satisfaction to any sort of legislation. Give the working class peasant power. No, that's not what it's about. Nobody gives up power that easy. In their tradition and in their line of so-called work, I call it a lifestyle. That's a fool's move. Give the peasant what he wants. No. This goes for everybody, by the way. Please, please don't you ever think on third eye knowledge that this is based on pigment. That's not what we do out here. This is not what we believe. What we believe is your character, how you treat other people, how you treat yourself, is enough of an answer or explanation to anybody of the kind of person you are. Because we look at people, not pigment. We're not your leadership that half of you that are going to Trump's rally think that is totally okay and everything is fine. No, it's not. It's beyond disintegrated, and your democracy is obliterated, and your constitution has probably been set on fire to light one of their fat fucking $100 cigars, and they're laughing in your face. And they're orchestrating and organizing and staging the power structure to tell you that, again, it's white and black. So please take this seriously, because this is what's really going on. You can play their game. You can focus on the on Black Lives Matter and Candace Owens and this one and that one, and you can keep living in your dream world that something's going to change, but it's not going to happen unless you look at your community and your state and local representatives, in which don't really have all that kind of power. And maybe, just maybe, if you don't have a shitbag governor or senator or whatever you want to call them in your community and is willing to work with you on, if your police force is that bad, maybe hiring working class Joes to take these courses, or just maybe, toning it down, slowing down. Look at your community. Does it even need police? I'm 28 and I'm able-bodied. I'm 6 feet tall. I've never called the police in my life but one time, and that was it. My father-in-law was really sick, and that's the only time I've ever had to call the police. And ask yourselves in any situation, do I need them? Try maybe, I don't know, handling the situation yourself. These are things that they're not telling you because they don't want you to know that. Because if they did that, they wouldn't have news. It wouldn't be up-to-the-minute action news. The fucking one up there. Grovel on the ground like fucking whatever. Scum of the earth so you can get your police reform. You can't reform a cop. I'm quoting Dick Gregory because he's right on that. You give me something I can't have taken away from me. I'm going to do my job until you tell me I'm doing it wrong. Master tells me to go brutalize this gentleman over here because that's what they train me to do. I'm going to do what Master tells me because he's going to take away what the fuck I have. I don't want to hear that because it hurts your feelings. Stop thinking with feelings. This is all a game of power. And they will utilize every string, possibly, just possibly, to keep that fascist gangster happy in the executive seat. Because that's what he fucking wants. You keep calling him big babies. They keep calling him stupid. Think about it. Think about it, man. Criminal. Criminal fucking mastermind. Expert narcissist. And possibly one of the finest sociopaths we've seen in American political history. And it's a black and white issue. It's deeper than that. It is, but it is also much deeper than what they're telling you and what you're thinking it is. If they don't get that justice in 2 months and another innocent black man or brown man or whatever you guys want to use to define your colonizer's language, that's you. Bottom line, if you're not part of their culture, you're not worth a fucking moment of your administration's time. And the movement, eventually, because of the amount of power that they want to keep, you might just see military soldiers walk out of the White House in Washington and every military barrack in this country to every major inner city and shoot each and every one of these protesters because that's power. They don't care. And I wanted everyone to hear this tonight because I'm only trying to help America slow down and look at some very legitimate facts. I have a uniform. In some cases, they give you education to join it. They give you big fat fucking pensions. But the biggest thing they give a cop is immunity. They protect and serve the 2%. And they come over here and they destroy our communities. Think about that before you write all lives matter on your sign. Deuces.